Chris Bond has been videotaping, capturing all that other
I only
people's
captured today. Stop.
face. I've been in his space about 2-3 years now. We've been in the same box together. We've been doing this thing.
Throwing dirt in each other's eyes.
In Post Summit. You know, forget about your girl. I'm in my element right now. You ain't captured. Ugh.
All right, let's get it now then. Let's go.
Let's go.
Good evening, y'all. Good evening. How y'all doing this evening? Listen, we had some bad weather here today in Houston. I didn't know we were going to have internet to get live. We're not. But since we do, it's yet again another Transformation Tuesday, as my girl Meta from South America would call it. And we are coming to you with some education. In case this is your first time joining us, I am your girl, Kai Smith, also known as your hair loss advocate. I am the proud founder of the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases, where we certify beauty pros to become functional trichologists. I am also the creator of our signature 5-day program, an introduction to trichology that takes place in Houston every quarter, known as ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair. I am an author. I am the owner of the Hair Loss Management Center of Houston, which is a virtual hair loss clinic where I service women to identify the unknown causes of their hair loss. There are so many things that I love to do, but I am passionate most about educating my peers to serve on a deeper level from a trichological perspective, as well as helping women uncover the unknown factors about their hair loss. I am a lover of God, a wife, and a mother, and I'm proud that I have been chosen to do all the things that I have been called to do. So tonight, let's get this liner right first, y'all. That line needs to be smeared a little bit. So listen, I'm bringing you guys some deep conversation. As you know, every time you come into this space, it's deep. So before we get started tonight, I want to invite you to share. I want you to share this broadcast because sharing is caring, just as simple as that. If you are not a beauty pro, however, you may be a consumer who's looking to understand hair loss on a deeper level, looking how to choose practitioners to support you with hair loss. But if you are a beauty professional, then you have tuned into the right space, because I love guiding you along your journey to elevate, to serve on a deeper level, and to also increase your revenue. So tonight we're talking about hidden hair care gaps. Discover what barbers and stylists are missing. Hidden hair care gaps. Hey, Miss Barbara from Jersey, thank you for joining me tonight. Hey, Meta from South America, thank you for joining me tonight. So I want to jump into this conversation because I think that there's so many gaps here with beauty professionals that we have lost a sense of who we are, the culture of who beauty professionals have been called to be. Um, some of our title, the description of our titles, we did not ask for. We just kind of have taken them on as we grow our clientele and we serve them in the areas where they need most, be it hairstyling, be it psychology, whatever it is. Now it's trichology. So I want to enlighten you. And so tonight, I want you to join me as we discuss the crucial hair care steps that's often overlooked by beauty professionals. I want to introduce you to the new era of caring for hair. And it's not just limited to what's in your shampoo bottles or at your back bar or in the cabinets at your station. And so you guys already know the mantra, trichology is the new cosmetology. And I will continue with this movement until I recruit all of the beauty industry into this space, whether they're going through AHSD or ID or not, but assuming some type of trichological knowledge along their career path is needed. It's dire, it's imperative, because not only do we need it to continue to grow our businesses, but most of all, the customers that we serve needs to have a greater understanding of what is happening to their body. So we're going to be talking tonight about, I have a list here. We're going to be talking about 5 top things that are posing as a gap when we are hairstyling behind the chair. So let's go to one of the images that we have that I want to highlight here tonight. And this live is going to be kind of short and to the point tonight because I'm preparing for ID hair loss behind the chair, kicking off on this coming Saturday. So I want to save my energy for that space, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to come live to you guys tonight. So let's take a look at one of those images. We don't have it. I'm sorry. Y'all. I thought you didn't ever get the images? Just one? Show that one. You can't? It's not there yet. All right, not there yet. Okay, so we're going to hold off on showing the images because they're not loaded in the system yet. So let me just start off with, sorry you guys for that. Let me just go with discussing the 5 gaps. So the first gap, neglecting proper shampooing techniques. Now, you guys know that this is really, really huge. And I never did go live on Instagram, and I want to do that. I want to go back live on the gram too. So let's go live on this gram while I'm talking to y'all. Let's go live over here too, because I don't want them to miss out. Hey, on Instagram, we are live talking about the hidden hair care gaps. Discover what barbers and stylists are missing. There are crucial hair care techniques that we are missing, and I want to bring that to your attention. So we're discussing the top 5 gaps that we have. Now, neglecting proper shampooing techniques. We all know about the improper shampooing techniques or just neglecting to shampoo at all. Now, I'm probably not talking to anybody that's on one of Kai Smith's lives because I know I attract the highest of the high in the beauty industry. So maybe I'm not talking to y'all. But just in case y'all got some friends that's doing this, I want y'all to share this message because this is impeding the process of keeping the terrain of the scalp healthy and also the hair from growing out and also causing so much bacteria to collect in this space. Hey, you guys over here on Instagram, thank you guys for joining me. And so it's impeding the hair to grow in the space. So when we decide that we're not going to shampoo, especially our braiders, people who are doing weave services, people who are doing any kind of lock service, right? They're deciding to have their clients come in already shampooed. This is like one of the prerequisites, right? To have them come in pre-shampooed. And with that, that's causing a lot of bacteria. And you're getting someone in your chair. You don't know where they've been. You don't know what their hygiene is like. You don't know what they're eating. You don't know what they're secreting. Yet you're trusting that they've taken the right shampoo to cleanse their hair fibers. And let's just remember that shampoo cleanses hair fibers. It does not remove anything from the scalp. This is why it's important to understand the detoxification techniques that are necessary, and I don't want to say that detox is the new shampoo, because detoxing and shampooing should not be confused as the same, because we're detoxing hair. We're detoxing scalp, not the actual hair. And when we're detoxing, we want to make sure that we haven't altered the hair fibers, because we can overpull, we can cause drying to the hair fibers, which causes it to be brittle, breakage, so on and so forth. So we want to make sure that we are separating the hair from the scalp when we are doing any kind of maintenance to scalp or maintenance to the hair fiber. And so that's one of the top ones, is that we're neglecting the shampoo process. So any braiders, any locticians, any weavologists, or any hairstylist that's just saying, come shampooed, you have missed the whole opportunity to realign the moisture and the protein balance in the hair. And you've missed the opportunity to cleanse the scalp surface so that the client can leave bacteria free, rebalanced, and then they're set for the next secretions that's going to come from the hair follicle, right? And so there's so much that we are missing when we don't shampoo the hair. I don't know when we got to the space where we don't have time for the shampoo anymore, and all we want to do is style, especially if we are doing silk presses and things like that. We're putting heat on this hair. We don't know what's actually on the hair before they got to us. We don't know what we're inhaling with the burn off that's coming from the heat, coming from those appliances, all that stuff. So understanding how to take care of the client, understanding how to take care of yourself, not overlooking services on your menu because you're trying to hurry up and you're more so going for quantity over quality. And I think that's where we're missing it, because we're concerned with how many people we can pull in versus how much quality we can bring the people that we are pulling in at the end of the day. So we want to make sure that we maintain proper scalp health and remove the buildup that can hinder or impede hair growth or breed more bacteria. Because as we'll be teaching inside of ID Hair Loss BTC, we'll be talking about the connection between the scalp and gut microbiomes, so that we understand what's actually driving the scalp disorders and what's driving the secretion and the imbalance of bacteria or the overgrowth of bacteria on the scalp, that we want to make sure that we kill. We want to make sure that we kill or eradicate that bacteria on the scalp during the salon service. And if you don't understand that there are things there that you cannot see, then you have overlooked a whole service, and you've overlooked how to really serve the client on a deeper level, which actually causes you to underserve your client, because these are things that they don't know that are there because they can't see it. You don't know that it's there because you can't see it, nor do you have an eye to be able to see it if you are not trichologically trained. So number 2, let's look at the second gap: underutilizing dermoscopes in consultations. How many of you in this space, hey Jess, how many of you in this space on Instagram and on Facebook, how many of you are using dermoscopes in your services? How many are using a dermoscope? Or how many of you even know what a dermoscope is? Or if you are a consumer in this space, how many of you have had a dermoscope used on you just in a basic hair care session with your stylist? Yeah. All right. Revitalize Lux Studio says, I do on Instagram. Kim says me. Jessica says me. How many of you are using dermoscopes in your practice? Kelly saying me. Hey, Kelly. You are missing so much if you're not utilizing a dermoscope. What causes for you to use the dermoscope? Do you guys, the ones that are saying, yes, I use this, are you guys Styled by Mandy, me, I'm a certified trichologist. Yay. Hey, Mandy. So what determines when you use this on your client? Talk to me tonight. What determines when you use a dermoscope on your client when they come in to see you? Are there any qualifications for you to actually pull this out? When going to a dermatologist, they were never used on me. Absolutely. Even in a dermatology appointment, that's a good point. Jessica over on Facebook is saying that even when she went to a dermatologist for hair loss support, the dermatologist never even used the dermoscope, right? So those of you who are saying that you're using dermoscopes in your practice, what determines who you use this dermoscope on? Are you using it at every appointment? I want to hear from you. So please put it in the comments for me. And so incorporating dermoscopes allows professionals to closely examine the scalp, you guys, identifying underlying conditions and tailoring treatments effectively for optimal results. I offer a scalp analysis appointment. Okay, I know you can see the underlying problem. All right, so with that said, both of you guys are right on Instagram and on Facebook. However, the frequency, how frequently are you using this? I use it every appointment to see what's going on the scalp. And that's exactly what I want to hear. Exactly what Jessica just typed. I use it at every appointment to see what's going on the scalp. You must use the dermoscope every single appointment. Every single appointment. There shouldn't be, I don't care the frequency, because things change and the naked eye cannot observe some of the things that are changing on a microscopic level, right? So you need to pull out that dermoscope so that you can make sure, and taking pictures. This is CYA in your business, because there's so many things that are left unseen, unnoticed when we're relying on our naked eye to see it. But when we magnify it 10 to 50 times using the dermoscope, then we're able to bring things into closer vision so that we can discover things that we didn't know were there. Because oftentimes your client who's experiencing, some type of AGA, or whatever, may have lost 50% of their hair before they recognize that they're losing hair. And they've been coming to see you every week, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever the frequency is. They feel like they have a consistent regimen with a professional, a hair care professional. And then all of a sudden they experience hair loss. They can see their scalp more, it's more visible. They're starting to have to move their part, or, the hair is, you can see through the scalp more. So they're having to use different shades of color because they can't do the same things that they used to, or they're not using color at all because of what's happening to their hair. And a lot of times in those cases, this was already happening, but had you been using a dermoscope, you would have been able to identify it sooner, quicker, faster, right? And when you can identify sooner, quicker, faster, that is going to shift the approach you're going to take for their hair care. And so when you shift the approach that you take for their hair care, then that ultimately saves those hair fibers that have started changing, that were changing unbeknownst to you, because you can only see what the eye can see, because traditional cosmetologists and barbers have not been trained trichologically to notice or to be able to use a dermoscope. So all you can rely on is what your eyes can naturally see. And unfortunately, in cases of trichology and certain types of hair loss, we cannot visibly see it until it has expanded at least 40 to 50%. And now we're in a space where we have lost almost or over half of the hair strands on the head, and the customer is panicking because they want to know if they can get their hair back. And depending on how long this has been happening will determine on whether or not they can get this hair back or not. Because now we're looking at the health of the follicle. We're looking at diameter. We're looking at if the follicle has actually closed up and there's a secondary cicatricial alopecia going on. So there are a lot of things that we can do to prevent or to take notice of hair loss faster in our salons if we had a trichological eye. So there is a huge gap there, because just as, hey Tam, just as Jessica just volunteered this information to us and said that in my hair loss experience, a dermatologist never even used a dermoscope on me, right? And if dermatologists aren't using dermoscopes, dermatologists aren't using anything other than a biopsy, and they're going to extract a piece of tissue from your scalp to determine what type of hair loss is going on. Sometimes it doesn't require a biopsy. If you have a dermatologist that's well versed, they can look at it and see, what's going on. I'm just recognizing, y'all, that my shirt is actually not buttoned up even, and that's why I'm having such a difficult time tonight. So y'all bear with me so I can get my little self together while I'm on this live with y'all. Oh, we got it. So let's talk about this picture here. This picture is a real client that I have dealt with, and she actually, this appears as though maybe she might be having some traction alopecia. Two certified trichologists who have a trained eye in this, you'll know that this is not a case of traction alopecia, actually. And I'm going to flip the camera in just 1 second for my Instagram followers to see. But you will know that if you have a trained eye, that this is not necessarily a case of traction alopecia, right? This is a situation. This person has a short hairstyle. This is a person that, even though you still see some hairs still growing there, they're not a candidate for any type of chemical service. Yet someone who has no training in trichology will decide that they will relax around this area, right? And this is like this on both sides of her head, right? And so this is also a client. I'm going to turn this back around. This is also a client who has a regular hairstyling appointment, and her hairstylist is actually who escalated this appointment and referred her to me as a trichologist because she knew more was going on. But this cosmetologist also has some type of trichology training to be able to triage, because some people don't want to become a trichologist at all. Some people just simply want to understand terminology, understand what they're seeing, but they still just solely love and are passionate about styling hair, that they don't want to offer any trichological services in their salon. And that's perfectly fine if that's you, but you still need a level of trichology knowledge under your belt to even be able to triage on this level, right? So because she had previous training with myself, she knew better than to put the relaxer continue to put relaxer on the client's scalp and do the things that an untrained person would typically do that would exacerbate the situation. But also because she has been a regular client going to the hair salon, she doesn't style her hair herself, and she just all of a sudden appears with this type of loss around her edges. Who do you think she's going to blame first? I want y'all to type it in the comments. Who do you think she's going to blame first? I'm waiting for y'all to type in the comments because I want y'all to talk to me tonight. Andrea on Facebook says the stylist. Revitalized Lux Studio says the stylist. Christina says the stylist. Style by Mandy says the stylist. Gonna blame the stylist. And so if you don't, hey, Donita, hey, Eb, everybody on Facebook is saying Monica, Jessica, Donita, Eb, Kelly, everybody's saying the stylist. Nathan, hey, Nathan. So what do you think the untrained stylist would be saying? What would be the untrained stylist's response to this? What do you think that response would be? When the conversation comes about with the customer saying, I don't know, something's happening with my edges. They didn't used to be like this. I haven't changed anything with my lifestyle. I haven't, taken any medications. I don't even take any medications. I haven't done anything differently. You know, did you change the relaxer that you use? Did you change any products that you used? How is the hairstylist going to respond? Hey, Kelly Madison. Again, it says it's probably stress, but even saying it's probably stress is not enough. Well, I told her she didn't need the chemical. Yes, you may need to see a dermatologist. Yes, come on, Facebook, talk to me tonight. Come on. Braids. So the thing is, the client is saying, I haven't had braids. I had no weave. All I had was this short haircut. I'm not taking any medications. Show the image again just so that I can flip for the people on IG who are just now joining. Let's look at that again. So this is what we're talking about here, just in case you're just now joining me on IG. And we're talking about this showing up on a customer scalp and the customer not knowing what's going on, but wanting to get answers from the hairstylist. How should the hairstylist respond to this if they don't have any trichological background? How would they be able to respond to this? And so they're saying, I haven't had any quick weaves. I haven't had, any braids. All I've had is this short haircut. There's been no tension on my hair. None of this. I don't take medications. There isn't anything wrong with me. When I went to the doctor a few months ago, all my blood tests came back normal. Like the client is on it and she's letting you know that I don't have any issues. I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is that I've been coming to you and this hasn't happened before. So now what? What kind of answers do you have? Y'all talk to me. What kind of response do you give the customer who's sealed airtight on what they think is going on? No meds, no weaves, no braids. Doctor said everything is fine. I don't have any symptoms, but I've been coming to you, getting my hair done consistently. What you saying to this? What are you saying? They will give her a swoop bang, add some tracks to cover it. Barbara saying, thank you for sharing, Barbara. May need to see a trichologist. Okay. And so now, Tanya Marie, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Are you actually a licensed cosmetologist? And so, Christina, you say maybe it's genetic. Well, nobody in my family has hair loss. My mom and them are good. My daddy is good. Nobody has hair loss. Right? So, what are you saying? That's when the rubber meets the road, Jessica. It could be a number of things. Go see a trichologist. Linda Boyce, hormones. And so, when we're looking at this, I see, and I really appreciate you guys dialoguing with me because I really love the dialogue. Ask about their diet. I have the journal, their diet for the next 7 days, and look at her H2O intake and food intake. And untrained may say best send her to her derm. Revitalized Lux Studio was saying hormones. So, okay, so this is good. So now Tanya says, yes, she is a licensed cosmetologist. She would refer to a trichologist. So, Tanya, let me ask you, why would you refer to a trichologist? Why would you want to send money out of your door for something that you can support her with? This is where the gap is. These clients are coming into us. And now, because 9 times out of 10, the trichologist is going to be a hairstylist too. And because they can style hair, nobody has time to go to 2 different places to get some support for their hair, nor do they want to go and spend double time in a space to get something done when they can be served one time for it and trust the person that's helping them with the recovery to be able to provide the style to them. So why would you want to take that risk and refer that money out? Because if we are looking at it correctly, at a person coming in with a short haircut, typically they're going to come in once a week or bi-weekly. We're looking at them on an annual basis. You're actually referring thousands of dollars out of your business on an annual basis because you chose not to get trichological knowledge. So let's put the multiplier on that. What if we multiply that and now you have 6 or 7 clients that you've had to refer out that did not come back to you because you didn't have the trichological knowledge. That is a gap. That is a gap in your business. We're not talking about beauty professionals across the board. We're talking about just you, the individual who now has a gap in how you're going to serve your clients. And so there's an underservice there because you don't know how to serve them based on the problems that they're bringing to you now, which is really a requirement for you. But you want to lean on a trichologist and say, let me refer this out. Now, granted, the person that sent her to me referred it out because she's clear that that's not what she wants to do. However, I implore you to not refer business out. Now, the person who referred her to me is in good hands. You know why? Because I don't touch people. So I'm not a threat to anybody's business. Because I operate a virtual hair loss clinic and I work globally. So I am training people how to recover without having the touch to have to go in the office to get that recovery. But if I were actually locally working in a place, touching people, then that is a threat to her business because when I was styling behind the chair, short hair was my thing. That's what I did. And so easily that would have been money that was sitting in my chair now because I know the recovery strategy. I know exactly what not to do to her scalp to exacerbate it. And I know how to style her hair like she likes it. Why are we running the risk of sending business elsewhere? Why? Why? All right, Style by Mandy. Sometimes we need to educate the clients on what is going on with their scalp and what kind of service you can provide for them. Absolutely. But that is also what should come with sitting in a professional's chair, that they have to be educated and understand what's going on, which is why I prompted the question. This is Style by Mandy, who's a certified trichologist on Instagram, which is why I said, how do you think an uncertified or a person who doesn't have any trichological training, how do you think they would respond? Right? And so you guys basically gave me that feedback on how to respond. But then I also have some people here who were saying hormones, gut health, genetics, all of the things. So how do you go in and explain to a customer who thinks that this type of hair loss just basically happened overnight because they see such, a widespread of their hairline missing? How do you educate them and say, I'm sorry, but I want to inform you that this is not your hair, that this is actually your body. Your body is out of alignment. I know that your doctor has told you that your blood work is okay because they trust their doctor. They trust their doctor and they didn't come to you for medical advice. They came to you for hair care, right? And so since they came to you for hair care, they're not looking at you to give them the medical advice. But when you are tried and true and are loaded with professionalism and service, and you know how to overserve, and the way the conversation is aligned when the client is in the chair, you have a reputation of educating your client whenever they come in, regardless to what is going on in their lives as far as their hair is concerned, then there will be a respect for you and what it is that you're sharing with them to be able to say, I just want to inform you that this has been happening for a long time. We just didn't see it. And because I wasn't trichologically trained, I didn't have a trichoscope or I couldn't, look at it through the trichoscope or the dermoscope to really get a closer view to see what was going on with the hair and the follicles before it started presenting itself to the naked eye. But had I gone the distance and got the training, I would have been able to see this a long time ago, and I would have stopped using relaxer on your short hair, and I would have advised you to do something differently, and I would have also advised you on how to align your body systems so that we can prevent this from happening, right? Let's see. Monica says, I'm a hair loss specialist. So at the salon, the stylist refer the client to me. So I am the consult at the salon. Absolutely. And it's in-house, which is very good. But what happens when you leave that salon? What are they going to do? That business is now leaving the salon. So they too need to become educated in the area of hair loss so that they can support their clients as well. This is information that shouldn't just be isolated to one person. This is information that each person that is manning a chair, a styling chair, should have their own insight. so that they can manage their own clients. Everyone needs to become educated. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And so this is the response of the person who has chosen not to get trichological support, that is standing in position and taking ownership of not getting the extra education that they needed in order to manage the problems that their clients are coming in with. However, from the person who is trained, who said, you know what, I see the problem. I want to be at the forefront of the solution, and I want to make sure I take care of my clients, and I don't want them losing hair on my watch. So here's how that conversation would go. Miss Judy, I wanted to inform you that for the last few times that I've been seeing you, I've been noticing some thinning happening around your edges. I would like to take a trichoscopic look at your hair, magnify it 1 to 50 times, 10 to 50 times, so that I can get a closer look at what is going on. I'm interested in looking at your follicular health because I'm noticing that the hair strands are growing out thinner, which lets me know that there's some miniaturization going on. I don't believe that things are well balanced in your body. I know you said you went to the doctor and everything was fine. All of your blood tests were fine, but I would be interested in taking a deeper look at your blood work, because if you're going to a Western medical doctor, then they have a different blood reference range than what we look at based on holistic care. And they are only looking for disease. I'm not looking for disease. I'm looking for imbalance, anything that is not allowing your body to operate optimally. And I would like to take a deeper look at your blood test so that I can see where things may be imbalanced. I would like to take a deeper look at your hormones, because I do recognize that you are in the age of perimenopause. And so some things may not be happening the way that they used to. And I'm interested to know if there's some type of estrogen dominance going on with you that is causing a greater imbalance in your hormones, but also causing your detoxification pathways to be clogged. So I want to look more at what's happening within the terrain of your gut to make sure that things are balanced there, to make sure that your liver doesn't have so much pressure on it that it can't naturally detoxify your body, and causing for your lymphatic system to kind of, get clogged up and not being able to move for you properly to excrete all of the toxic waste that you have in your body. I just want to make sure your excretory systems are operating and functioning properly, and making sure that you have good hormone balance. And if not, if I find that there's anything going on with you that your doctor has overlooked, I will guide you and I will work as the liaison between you and your doctor to empower you to ask the right questions in the doctor's office to see what other support that you need, so that you can make sure that your hormones are balanced, you can make sure that your gut health is impeccable, and you make sure that you're detoxifying properly. Okay? Would that be okay for you? So these are the kind of conversations that you can have with your client when you are trichologically trained. You don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. You don't fall for my blood test came back fine, nothing's going on. You know how to go deeper. You know how to go beyond. And all of this is important to you as the hairstylist or the practitioner, because this is protecting you and your career. Because if a client thinks that a stylist has done something wrong and is causing their hair to come out, you don't know what lengths they'll go through, taking you to court and doing whatever else it is that they want to do, just because they want someone to take ownership for it, not recognizing that it's not you and it's not the hair, it's their body. And of course, the conversation that I just had about the liver and the gut and the kidneys and the hormones, that's a simplified version of what it is that I've just said. And there's so much more knowledge that needs to be learned about hormones, about how hormones operate, about, estrogen dominance, low estrogen, low testosterone, high testosterone, low progesterone. There's so much to learn about how hormones work, how the endocrine system operates, what looks like, and the other things that can be impeding that process. Hey, Shalon, the other things that can be impeding that process, because I saw some other people on here say stress. Yes, stress is probably, a key factor as well. However, stress is not good enough when you're talking to a customer, because what is the stress actually doing to your client's body? How is that stress actually impeding hair growth? And if you can't answer that, then don't even talk about stress, because stress has so many mechanisms. Cortisol is a disruptor in the body, and it will disrupt almost every single thing that's happening. You don't know where to start. So stress could happen in my body and show up differently, and it can happen in Trisha's body, show up differently, Ebony's body show up differently, so Lakeisha's body show up differently. So what are you really saying when you say a person is stressed? How is that function or dysfunction actually causing havoc in a person's body? You have such a comforting voice that is so important when you are dealing with clients' pain points. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you again for joining me. And so that is just one of the actual images that I wanted to share with you, because I'm really interested in how you guys are caring for your clients that are coming in with these ailments. This is, hey, Denise, this is serious business, because it's not just about telling the client they're stressed. It's not just about telling the client that they have genetic hair loss, because genetic hair, just because it runs in their family doesn't mean they have to have it. There's so many lifestyle factors that turn on the genes of a person that's genetically predisposed. They need to understand how they got to a point, not where they currently are. And if you can't teach them how they got there, then they can't undo it. That's our go-to answer when we really don't know. Right, Linda? Right. So with that said, we got to go deeper than stress, guys. We got to go deeper than genetics. We get so many superficial surface answers when we go to the derm that we can't afford to give those same answers in our chair. The derm can get away with it because a person will just say they'll never go back to the derm again. But we can't get away with that, because if our clients stop coming back to us, our business is ruined. We can't afford to take that hit. We can't afford to take that hit. If a person, let me ask y'all, be honest with me, y'all. Be real honest with me, because I just really want to know. If a person goes to the derm, or if you go to the derm, let's just say you have your own hair loss issue, right? And you go to the dermatologist seeking support. You go to your first dermatology appointment, and, you tell them all of your concerns, and, they're supposed to support you. They give you a prescription or whatever. And, they're like, see if this works. They haven't really even told you the diagnosis, because most times when you go in to see the derm, the first thing they tell you is you got alopecia, and all they've told you is you got hair loss and Greek. That's it, right? So, and I'm saying that because when I was experiencing my own hair loss, that is exactly what happened to me, right? And this was some years back when I was first trying to figure myself out with my own hair loss condition. And so with that said, they sent me away, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see if this works. Then I went back because I need some more help, because this isn't really doing the thing. And then they tell me something else, and I'm like, okay. And then they're like, let's do the injections. Okay, if that's gonna work. Okay. Then I go back again. I'm getting the injections, but I'm losing hair in other areas of my scalp, right? I go back again. This is 4 visits. How many times do you think that your client, hey, Satura, how many times do you think your client is going to come back to you to give you a try after you've tried 11 things on their scalp? How long do you think you're going to retain them as a client? Do you think that your client, or would you give somebody that many opportunities to leave you unsupported and you're paying them? Because I feel like the patients give the dermatologist more opportunity to help them than what they would give us as being their hairstylist, coming to us as their client. They wouldn't give us that many opportunities. So tell me, how many opportunities would you give somebody to fail you before you decided you're not going back? I want to hear it. Y'all talk to me. I'm going to close these blinds real quick while y'all answering. What we got? I have a few clients who spoke to me about injections, ointments, etc., that they've been using. I just want to be able to help them more. I can't wait till Saturday. Yay! Because Satura will be in the building on Saturday. All right. So we got on Instagram, Revitalize Lux Studio says maybe twice. What else we got over here? Nope, I left my derm after the injection appointment. You are in for a treat, honey. Oh, Kimberly's talking to Satura about she's in for a treat. Y'all tell me how many times, what y'all, Tanya says, one. I will give him one time. So if y'all give him one in 2 times, I got 2 over on Instagram. I got 1 over here on Facebook. Mostly everybody over here on Facebook is saying I'll give them one time after the first appointment and all the products, one time. So, yeah, 4 visits out of pocket. 4 visits out of pocket. Shalon says 2 to 3 max. 2 to 3 max. And it's 4 visits out of your pocket because you went to someone that somebody referred you to. You went to a derm that's supposed to know what they're doing, right? Because as African-American women, for some reason, we think we should only go to an African-American dermatologist because they know our hair. But let me tell you something. We're not talking about the hair that we can feel the texture and the curl pattern above the epidermis. We're talking about the dermis. We're talking about cellular health when we're talking about hair loss. So it ain't the hair that you can see and touch. It ain't the hair that you can see and touch. It's the hair that you can't see that's in the dermis that's proliferating as cells that we're talking about we're losing. That's a different kind of conversation. So why we feel like we got to go to a derm that is our color in order to be able to help us with our hair is beyond me. It's beyond me, because you can go to a Caucasian derm that really understands what's happening and that knows his game or her game on different types of hair loss causes. Now, they're going to treat you based on allopathic care. They're going to give you all the meds or whatever, but they still understand what is happening. So it doesn't matter whether they're black or white, but hair loss is on a cellular level, not on this hair fiber level that we're seeing above the epidermis. My son was going to a dermatologist and we stopped because the derm stated all they can do is try different products to see what works. He also stated that he was filled with steroids, so it wasn't something he could take or use continuously. Shalon said, my experience has been that clients accept an alopecia diagnosis too easily, not knowing how vague an answer that is. Absolutely, Shalon. I wholeheartedly agree. And that's one of the reasons why my mission is to increase public awareness. And I do that through my WELL program, Women Eradicating Hair Loss, to go through my wellness program and get a true understanding about their body, why their body is doing this. It is not your hair, it is your body. And I also do that through ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair and American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases, where I certify beauty professionals that are on the front line to be able to continue, as an extension of my voice, to continue the movement to educate and increase awareness through their chair so that we can shift how we view hair loss, and we can shift the approach that we take when we're addressing hair loss recovery. It is huge because it is not the hair, it is the body. Yet we're still approaching the hair. And I don't understand that, which is why I said it's beyond me, why we think we have to go to an African-American dermatologist in order to get our hair loss recovery if we're choosing allopathic care. Hey, Mitch, if we're choosing allopathic care, and because I'm a proponent of, I want you to do whatever you think is best and safe for you. I'm a holistic person. I'm going to always give you the holistic approach. I do understand the allopathic approach, but my job is to interpret why the allopathic approach is not working for you and to interpret the language your body is speaking through the symptoms your body is giving off through that hair loss. And as a result of that, I can tell you where the misfire is and why your doctor has overlooked giving you the right recovery strategy, because they're only looking at a symptom. They have not reverse engineered it, and they have not looked at the root cause, which is why I am a beast at helping my peers decode what the body is saying when they come to ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair and when they take the full journey with me through the 18-month trichology course. I help you interpret the dysfunction of the body so that you know how to build recovery strategies based on what the person is going through. So what are y'all saying to me over here? It was only until I connected with you did I get the help that I needed. Trichology is the new cosmetology. Absolutely, Eb. Absolutely. And so all I'm saying is we need to understand that trichological eye, because we are doing our clients a disservice. And so if you are joining me now, we are going over hidden hair care gaps, discover what barbers and stylists are missing, because there is a gap And I have 5 key points that I'm highlighting tonight. If you just now joined us, the first key point was neglecting proper shampooing and how that breeds bacteria, how that impedes the hair growth process, how it creates a lot of buildup with naturally secreted oils and stuff that's on the scalp. Based on what a person is eating, is going to determine what's inside of all of that lipid matter that is being secreted on to their scalp, and how that process is going to impede hair growth, how it's going to impede you really supporting a client with aligning their hair fibers with moisture and protein, all of the things. The second one is underutilizing the dermoscope in consultation, because the dermoscope is what's going to bring it in closer to you as a hairstylist. You don't need to be a trichologist to use a dermoscope. You just need to be trained on how to use a dermoscope, which is what we do at ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair, so that you can be better armed on the front line to serve your clients who are in a hair crisis, who don't just need a hairstyle, but they do need health management. And when you take ID, you get health management techniques so that you know how to converse with your client on a deeper level outside of the surface stress genetic kind of conversation, right? We need to go deep. But before I get to number 3, I want to take a commercial break. Share, and we will be right back. What?
You can give the whole world a shot, but you still got people starving in us. Yeah, see, ain't nobody saying nothing. Oh, you gotta take this shot. You better take it. It's to save your life, and it's free. We giving it free because it's to save everybody's life. If it's to save life, why ain't chemotherapy free? Why ain't insulin free? If it's to save everybody's life, to save my life. But you got people dying of malnutrition, and we can't plant a garden over there, but we can send shots everywhere around the world. Somebody better open their eyes.
And in their heart, they know that what they're offering don't work. So don't lose your power to something that's working against you. All right, and we are back. Did y'all share it? Did y'all share this out? Did y'all put this in y'all stories or share this on your timeline? Help your girl out. Help me spread this word, because sharing is caring, and everybody needs to hear this information. So now, before we went to commercial break, we were talking about neglecting proper shampooing and underutilizing the dermoscope in consultations. Do we have another image that's uploaded? Do we? Nice. Let's see. Shalon said, let me tell you what I know. Y'all need to be at IDBTC. They need to be there, Shalon. They definitely do. Listen, this was another one of my clients who is actually in the medical field, y'all. This is actually someone who's in the medical field who had hair loss, and they had a primary cicatricial hair loss. And they had sought dermatological support over the years and used all of the antibiotics, used all of the topical corticosteroids, used the injection, the interlesional injection, steroids. I don't think I showed it to y'all on Instagram. Sorry. This is what we're looking at right now, y'all. Can y'all see that? This is what we're looking at. And so with that said, she had basically gotten to her wit's end. She had done everything that she thought she could possibly do to recover. This had been going on for a long time, as you can actually see. It's spreading centrifugally, but based on the right care and understanding the do's and the don'ts in styling practices, and the do's and the don'ts in how to take care of her body was imperative to her recovery. And a lot of times, old habits die hard. So when we're working with these customers with their recovery strategies, sometimes you get a lot of pushback from the customer because they just want to do what they want to do. And in a lot of cases, they don't really recognize how their poor lifestyle habits are contributing to the state of their scalp. They don't see the connection between the body and the hair, which leads me to point number three. Leads me to point number three. And point number three is overlooking the impact of body system homeostasis on hair growth. Overlooking the impact of body system homeostasis on hair growth. And so clients are guilty of this, as well as hairstylists are guilty of this, because I have so many hairstylists who are still disconnected from what's happening with the body. They take trichology, courses for 2 days or, 6 weeks or whatever, and they learn a lot of different herbs and stuff that they can use to concoct topical treatments or solutions and things, but they're not understanding body systems. And if you've taken a course that has not really taught you body systems, and I'm not talking about just taking a course that is giving you theory, because I took a course that just gave me theory in the very beginning of my trichological journey. And that left me at a dead end because I was very book smart, but I was very practical poor. I was very book smart. Somebody type that: book smart and practical poor. Book smart and practical poor. What does that mean? I knew everything in my mind. You could ask me any question and I can answer it about theory, about the science. But when it came to implementation, when it came to practical experience, I was void. I could not bring that theory to life into a person's life. It was dead. It was dead. Book smart and practical poor. Thank you, Ebony. And when you're book smart but practical poor, then you're not moving the needle. You're not moving the needle. The customer's not getting help. So you're still underserving because you didn't learn how to execute. You didn't learn practical. You didn't learn implementation. You didn't learn how to understand what the book was saying and then relate that to what's happening behind the chair with your client. And that's huge. That's a huge gap in our industry for those, especially who have taken trichology courses. And I don't want to call nobody out in this space, and I'm not asking you to, to front yourself. I'm just asking you to be honest with where you are, because I could raise my hand to what I'm getting ready to say. I was there at one point, and that's why I do what I do now. Hello, Paris Exquisite. Thank you for joining on IG. So I was once in this space. I knew everything about everything, but I didn't know how to implement everything. And if you don't understand how to physiology map, and if you don't understand what that means to the person in your chair, and you don't understand how to build a recovery strategy based on the missing links in their physiology, then you're going to come up empty-handed every time. And you're not going to move the needle. And then you'll end up ruining your reputation like I almost did. Jessica says, ID and AHSD brings it all into perspective. It helped me tremendously to truly understand. Absolutely. Revitalize Studio, Lux Studio says, yep. So how many are in this live with me tonight? And if you're on the replay, who can raise their hand to, I have been in a trichological space where I was theory rich, but practical poor? Who can raise their hand to that? Who really understands how detrimental that is to their career as a trichologist? So overlooking the impact of body systems, to keep the body in homeostasis. That is the number one thing that we are trying to do. We are not trying to grow. We are not trying to manually resuscitate that hair back to health on the scalp. That's just like somebody being in ICU, somebody being on the respirator, right? They're on the respirator. Linda says, me. Thank you guys for your honesty. Thank you on Instagram for your honesty as well, because that was me too. I'm not calling nobody out. I'm just speaking the truth. I do. That's why I will see you in October. Absolutely. Because yes, you are enrolled for the October ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair. Thank you so much for that. So with that said, if you don't understand these body systems, your clients, y'all, they coming into the salon and they having conversations with you, and they might have their feet on the rest of the styling chair, and you might turn them around, or you might drop your comb, or you might drop whatever instrument you're using, whatever, and you go to pick it up and you notice, oh, Keisha's legs are swollen. Or maybe she doesn't have any toenail polish on, and you like, why are her toenails looking like this? Why do they look dark or black? Or why do they look like the skin is so thick underneath there? Or you're looking at these things because they mean something. So sometimes symptoms don't even have to have a voice. Sometimes your clients don't even have to talk to you about what it is that is going on with them. You can read the body. And when you understand dysfunction and what body system is connected to, you understand how to walk that thing back. You understand why her scalp looked the way that it looks. I just saw your toes. So I know exactly why your scalp looks like that. I know exactly why you have a biofilm scalp buildup, because I'm looking at your feet. And that's not really what you're telling her, but that's what you're thinking in your head, right? Or I understand now, you telling me that your blood pressure is managed by the diuretics that you're taking, but yet I still see your ankles are swollen. Or you just told me the other day that you had to go to the jeweler and have them cut your wedding ring off because it was stuck and you couldn't get it off. See, it's those kinds of silent conversations that the clients are having with you that will lead you to an understanding about what's happening with their health. Or you have a client who's telling you that, oh, I'm not stressed, girl, I'm fine, yet you look at how they're eating, right? You look at how they're eating. Or you're looking at their body language. You see they're riddled with anxiety. They're telling you, oh, I'm not sleeping through the night. Oh, I wake up at, 2:00 in the morning. Oh, I wake up at 4:00 in the morning. Those things mean something to the circadian rhythm. Y'all know about the circadian rhythm? Do you know how important the circadian rhythm is to your hair growth business? Do y'all know that? Who knows about the circadian rhythm and the importance of this as it applies to your hair business? Let's talk about it. Yeah, Kelly, I know you know because you're AHSD student. Yes, ma'am. Certain medications deplete minerals and vitamins the body needs for hair growth. Absolutely, they do. But so, Christina, here's the thing. Certain medications do deplete. Okay, you said, can I spell that? Can we put that in the chat for her? Can we put circadian rhythm in the chat for Miss Barbara? What was I getting ready to say? I got sidetracked. I don't even know what I was getting ready to say. God dang it, Barbara. You made me forget what I was getting ready to say. Anyway, I lost that thought. That's all right. Hopefully it'll come back to me. Oh, that's what I was getting ready to say. Thank you, Jess. All right. That's what I was getting ready to say. That when we're talking about, because Christina says certain medications deplete vitamins and minerals in the body needs for hair growth. But here's the question. We know that they deplete more, but what was depleted that caused the medication need? So we got to go beyond the medication, because there was a need before the person even got on the medication that caused the person to get on the medication. Yeah. So that's where the bigger problem is, because the person is on the medication to begin with. So we have to look at pre-existing conditions to take all of that under consideration to learn why the person is even in a state to need a simulated function in the body, to stop the body from doing something too much or to help the body do something that is doing too little of. So why do we need an agonist or an antagonist to begin with? I told y'all I came to give y'all education tonight. You know, I know how to get on here and give y'all a rant and whatever else it is that y'all need and how to be funny, but this is real serious business. So I'm coming on here to really help you understand why you can't afford not to get into trichology. You can't afford not to do it. Your career depends on it. Your livelihood depends on that. We can't afford to be void of trichology in the state of beauty now, because it's bigger than your customers being on medications. What caused the onset of needing the first prescription drug? We got to walk it back. Because when we're trying to bring the body into homeostasis, granted, some people's body systems are already done for and they have to have the medication at this point because they didn't get to a person like me or a person like those that I train in AEHSD sooner, quicker, faster. And since we didn't get to them soon enough, sometimes we have to be okay with the fact that because body systems are now dependent upon this medication because it can't do it on its own anymore, we have to work around that to try to support the body as much as we can, not getting the proper nutrients. Absolutely. So, and I'm believing Revitalize Lux Studio that you were saying that based on what caused them to have to get the first prescription drug. And that is true, not getting proper nutrients, but what caused them to not get the proper nutrients. And that is what physiology mapping is all about. And I so love teaching my students how to physiology map, because that's where it's at. That's where it's at. And we start on that journey at ID, but we finish and get to the destination at AEHSD. Now, so if you're just now joining us, thank you for tuning in. We are talking about the hidden hair care gaps and discovering what barbers and stylists are missing. What are they missing in their beauty businesses? The first one was neglecting the proper shampooing techniques because it doesn't allow for a good space or a good environment for hair to grow due to the buildup and bacteria and stuff that's there. Underusing the dermoscope and consultations because it doesn't allow for you to be proactive to see what's happening on the client's scalp so that you could get ahead of certain things and handle things before they become a problem, right? I want to go to somebody that knows how to handle it before it becomes a problem, right? That's me. I'm looking for an expert that can handle something before it becomes a problem. And I don't want to have 50, 11 experts to handle one thing, which would mean that I don't want to go to a hairstylist that cannot handle my hair loss situation. I'm going to find one that can handle my hair care and my hair loss recovery so that I only make one stop. I'm a busy woman and I don't have time to make all these different pit stops to get one thing done, right? So help me help myself. And I want to go to the expert that's going to help me help myself, right? Kimberly says they are missing Akai Smith. Thank you. I agree with you. They missing Akai Smith. Barbara says, wow, when some states want to deregulate the cosmetologist license, this is so important, what you are sharing tonight. Absolutely. But the reason why they're trying to deregulate us is because we show up unimportant. We show up unimportant. We don't recognize our own value. So we show up unimportant. We show up like we just doing hair. And that might not be everyone, but unfortunately, the ones that are showing up like that speak for the whole. I'm a fraction of that, which is why I try to amplify my voice so loud, because I'm important and what I do is needed. I'm an essential worker because I help people increase longevity and their hair, right? So when you understand who you are, what you are, and who you serve, and the importance of doing that, then you show up differently. And I educate you to show up differently, right? I educate you to show up differently because we are needed. We are needed on so many levels. We are essential workers. But when we show up unimportant because we want to show up not shampooing and we want to show up taking shortcuts and we want to show up with all these guidelines before somebody can even get into our chair to experience, our brand. And when we want to show up unlicensed and all these other kinds of things that we're doing, right? It starts taking a toll on the whole industry. You're right. We need to know who we are in this thing. Absolutely. We need to know who we are. And so overlooking the impact of body system homeostasis on hair growth. That's number 4. Right? Hey, CC Beauty and Russian Beauty. Thanks for joining me over here. Again, this is such a great conversation that we're having tonight. And man, I'm enjoying having this conversation with you. I want to go to one more video before we get ready to go to our last point that we're going to make and get out of here for the night. So if you haven't already shared this, I'm going to ask you to share this live because it is filled with a lot of education for the consumer and for the beauty peer. So stay tuned while we go to another break.
I conquered, and I learned. Boy, this has been the best experience yet.
It was refreshing. It was awesome getting to see trichology work.
And this has made a complete difference in my education. We have learned so much hands-on. It's a great experience. You're going to come in here really ready to pursue your knowledge. We would never be the same.
All right, y'all. Let's talk about ID hair loss behind the chair real quick. Let's talk about ID hair loss behind the chair. This event, man, I'm getting ready to go into this full 5-day event. We'll be setting up on Friday. We go live on Saturday and we will be live until Wednesday. I'm so doggone excited about what's getting ready to happen. This is our second event, 5 days for 2024. And we'll be doing it again in October 2024. But there's so much to unpack for these students that have signed up for this 5-day trichological incubator. And an incubator is exactly what they will be in, because they will be hooking into myself and all the other educators that I have invited into that space to download information from them to improve, to elevate. And elevation, you can always say, I don't want to motivate you. I'm not necessarily looking to inspire you. I'm looking to empower you. But I don't want it to stop at empowerment, because I really, after the education, after empowering you, I want you to elevate with it. And you can't elevate until you implement the education that you've learned in that space. And that is where you ascend. That is where you go higher. You should never leave ID the same way that you came. You won't leave the same way that you came. The environment doesn't leave you comfortable enough to leave the same way that you came. And so with that said, I want to invite you, if you like this education that you are receiving in this space for free, right? If you like what you're receiving for free, then you want to show up October 19th through the 23rd. That's October 19th through the 23rd here in Houston, Texas. 5 days of hardcore education, a workbook that is almost 250 pages long, right? Almost 250 pages long. And we go through every single word on every single page, right? And I make time for you, which is why I keep the room very, very small, so that I can make time to pour into you and to serve you on such a level that you think you owe me when you leave. October 19th through the 23rd. Enrollment is open right now. You can put it on a 4-pay right now. So it's almost like you're laying it away, almost like you're laying that payment away, and you get to make 4 payments. So October 19th through the 23rd, I will share the link. The link is actually in my bio on Instagram, so you can run over and click the link on Instagram, and I will share that. Hey, Vicki, I will share the link in this feed, this video feed over here on Facebook. But I also want to share, let's share with them what we're going to be doing for a month of Mondays, starting June 17th through July 8th. I have more BTC domination. And anytime you see BTC domination, you guys know that BTC domination is the free element of the Kai Smith brand. So I will be bringing to you from plate to follicle. From plate to follicle. This is a 4-week series that I will be educating you for 1 hour every Monday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we will be actually looking at how to care for hair through a meatless diet. How to care for hair through a meatless diet. So I want you to join me for 60 minutes every Monday, starting June 17th through July 8th. And it is free. 60 minutes of free education. Now, I won't be on Facebook with it. You're going to have to click the link and you're going to have to register for this because it will be in a private virtual setting for those who want to join me for free for 60 minutes of education. Now, it will not be recorded. So if you miss it, you just miss it. I'm telling you now to mark your Mondays, June 17th, June 24th, July 1st, and July 8th. You mark it, set your clocks for 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then once you register, you will automatically receive the link to join us every single week for free. We will be talking about exploring meatless hair care, right? So unveiling the power of protein, protein's role in hair health, decoding protein deficiency, all complimentary from BTC Domination, y'all. Y'all need to reserve your spot. So registration will open next week. Registration will open next week. You will start seeing this on my timeline. So make sure you join. Make sure you join because I will cut the registration off. I don't need 100 people in the room because I'm not trying to influence 100 people at a time. If you know anything about me, you know I'm not big on the numbers like that. I'm more so big on quality over quantity. So I want to make sure when you come in that room, if you have questions that I can get to you and I can answer your questions. Just because it's for free doesn't mean that I'm going to underserve you because it's free. I'm still going to overserve you in that free space. So I don't need 100 people in that virtual setting because it's free. I need people there who are really eager to learn, who really want to serve on a deeper level with their clients. Again, this is for licensed cosmetologists only. Don't register if you don't have a cosmetology license to show me because I will be asking for your credentials in the email. So if you can't provide the credentials, even though you joined, you will not receive a link because I am big on keeping things, exclusive for licensed hairstylists. So this is an event, a virtual event for licensed beauty professionals only. She sure won't underserve you. Thank you so much for Vitalize Lux Studios. So free, y'all, free to my beautypreneurs. But I will be asking y'all, so check y'all doggone messages. When y'all register for something, make sure you go in and check your email and check your spam because y'all love to send me emails talking about, I didn't get an email, I didn't get this, and I didn't get that. Check your spam and read. Okay? Check your spam and read. Not checking your spam and not reading will have you miss out on your whole entire life, right? And so, listen, my last thing that I want to share with you guys before we get ready to get out of here to say, Christina says, here in the Bahamas, we don't do the license, but I am a certified hair loss practitioner. I can still join. So you guys don't do cosmetology license in Bahamas? I need to look that up because that's new for me. Let's see. I promise you can't get enough of AHSD no matter what she's teaching. Thank you so much, Kim. All right, y'all. Let's talk about this last point. Relying solely on, actually, I lied. It's one more point. I got 2 points. Relying solely on topical solutions for hair growth. And I kind of hit that a little bit when we were talking about overlooking the impact of body system homeostasis. There are so many hairstylists out here who thinks that they have the best hair growth oil on the market. The body grows the hair. I'm just going to leave it like that. The body grows the hair. Can we put certain things on the scalp to support with circulation and all of that? Absolutely, we can. But if our blood is void of nutrients, what's really circulating? If our blood is dehydrated and stagnant and our lymphatic system is sluggish, what's really circulating? What's really circulating? So we're putting more oil on top of a scalp that probably has imbalanced microbiome, which is one of the reasons why I want to talk about scalp microbiome at ID, because some of the things that we're doing, we're working against ourselves. Do oils and topicals have a place? Absolutely, they do, but they are not the front runners in the show. They're not the front runners in the show. And so we want to lean on topicals as though they are the front runners. The body produces its own ATP, its own energy on a cellular level that is going to support the organelles doing all the cellular functions, right? The body produces oxygen via red blood cells that depend on so many other things and proteins in order for that process to work. So why are we depending on microcirculation topically? Why are we depending on vasodilators? Why are we depending on all of these other topical gadgets and gizmos to actually make the follicle do something that the body actually does? Right? We have to understand that those things are not the front runners, especially your minoxidil, your finasteride, your fluosinide, your clobetasol. All of these topicals have a thing that they do. They have their own mechanism, but they are mechanisms that the body organically does. So the real life question would be, why do I need an anti-inflammatory topical solution or intralesional injection? Why is my body not secreting its own anti-inflammatories? Because that's what the adrenal glands are supposed to do. But there's a reason why that's not happening. Why do I need a vasodilator on my scalp, such as minoxidil, to support blood flow, to widen the blood vessels for the blood to flow? Why do I need that? Why do I not have enough blood flow in my vessels? What's actually impeding that process? So when we go strictly to topicals, we overlook what's really happening in the body, which could be really killing us silently, yet we're only concerned with growing our hair. So, relying solely on topical solutions for hair growth. Learn more about that at ID, and then you get your passport to enroll in AHSD by way of ID. The last one is lack of knowledge regarding texture changes and hair loss. And so the lack of knowledge regarding texture changes in hair loss is really important, and the underuse of dermoscopes is what allows us not to really see the texture changes. Because if a person is not experiencing a lot of density shift, you won't know it until they've lost 40 to 50% of their density to know that there's been a texture shift, right? So hair loss is going to start compromising the diameter of the hair strand that actually compromises or lessens how wide that hair strand is going to grow out. So if a person actually had, a coarse hair strand or a medium hair strand, and now they're experiencing hair loss, that coarse can be reduced to a medium, or that medium can be reduced to a fine, and it's shifting the texture. And if you don't recognize that there's a texture shift on the scalp because you don't know how to use a dermoscope and your naked eye cannot yet see it, then you'll start, applying heat that's too much for the actual texture, because it may not be the texture all over the head. It might just be in certain areas. You might use too much heat for that texture. You might use improper chemical application for that texture. There's so many different things that are happening as a result of that texture shift that possibly you can't see, or you don't know how to respond to properly. So you're doing the client a disservice when you're servicing them and you don't really know what's happening to that customer's head, because you don't know how to use the proper tools to take a deeper look, or you don't know how to do a consultation to ask the right questions, right? So we have talked about the hidden hair care gaps, discovering what barbers and stylists are missing. The top one, neglecting proper shampooing techniques. The second is underutilizing dermoscopes and consultations. The third is overlooking the impact of body systems homeostasis on hair growth. We have relying solely on topical solutions for hair growth, and we have lack of knowledge regarding texture changes in hair loss. So y'all, we got to do better. We got to rise up to the problems that we're seeing on the front line. We got to get better education for the era of hair care that we're responsible for in the beauty industry now. It's time out for saying, I don't need trichology. I didn't want to be a trichologist. I just want to style hair. You got to have hair to style in order to do it, which means that to indemnify your career, you need trichology, because trichology is the new cosmetology. Tiffany Wilson says, my, this is great information. I appreciate all of you guys for joining me tonight and staying. We've been on 1 hour and 24 minutes. So I truly appreciate you guys for being in this space with me. Hopefully I get to see some of you guys in the October IDBTC, because registration is now open. It is on a 4-pay right now. So go ahead and reserve your spot, and you get 4 months to pay for it. But y'all, for the ones that's registered for this June, it's about to be life-changing. And I promise you, this ain't just something cliche that I'm saying. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Your life will never be the same. You will not return home the same way that you left. So I advise you to get you some rest before you come, because we're doing 12+ hour days inside of that incubator. Y'all gonna be tired, but y'all gonna be overserved when y'all leave that space. All right. I'm preparing for you guys. I am downloading all that God wants me to share with you, resetting, realigning, so that I can be in a space of service for you all. And I'm doggone excited, y'all. So I will see everybody next week. I'll still come live. I'll come live from IDUTC. But for now, be good to yourselves. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Good night.